but it's been done. Welcome, everyone. Yeah, yeah. This week's been a crunch. Have barely replied to text messages, if that gives you any indication
So busy. Yeah.
what this week's
Well,
been.
I mean, I can't think of any other way to enjoy life than by being just mentally and physically exhausted throughout.
Totally.
Um, so I was in, yeah, the last 3 weeks have been pretty busy for me. I did a week, a couple nights in Ottawa, and then a week here, and then pretty much the whole week. I came back, I left Monday, came back yesterday from London, Ontario. I
Holy
went
shit.
to General Dynamics Land Systems. They make a lot of our armored vehicles.
Okay.
So I was there for a work trip. That was it's interesting. London's a bit of a scary city.
It's yeah, feisty.
A lot of drug problems, a lot of homeless problems,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's a little scary. I wouldn't want. I mean, I was walking around on my own. I don't know. It was like 7 or 8 at night when, by the time I got settled in when we got there,
Sure.
and yeah, there's just a lot going on that's
Out
enough to
in
kind of make you look sideways, just to kind of
out in the streets.
yeah, yeah.
Oh.
And I mean, there's good coming of it. Our hotel was in between. It was like the hotel and then a park,
Mm.
and then on the other side of the hotel was an extended stay. It's called London Extended Stay. So
Okay.
it seemed to be some sort of like longer term but cheaper housing options, sort of like
Right.
apartments. And
Yeah. I sometimes motels as a business will kind of convert to that extended stay model
oh, okay,
where they can get kind of like guaranteed income.
right, that makes sense.
So it's like a
And it was
win-win
built
for
like a
everyone.
little hotel rather than like a motel. It was just
Okay.
it took up less space, but it went higher. It was more
Mm,
vertical.
gotcha.
But they just converted that into there's a better term for it. I want to say like low income, whatever, but
Ah, yes, low income housing. I
it's not
think
even
that's
that.
the term.
It's fuck. What do you call it? Um, like halfway housing almost.
Okay. Where people are kind of not in recovery, but like maybe going through a program or
Yeah,
something like
yeah, yeah.
that,
Or in
gaining
recovery.
assistance. Yeah.
London, Ontario. I'm trying to figure out what they're actually
Assisted
calling it.
living?
Not quite assist. I actually don't know.
Okay.
I want to say no, but I have no idea.
Oh, okay, okay.
Oh, here we
You didn't
go.
go in and like ask questions at the front desk and be like, "What is this place?"
New apartments opening for homeless people with complex health needs. Supportive housing units. 25 of them in
Supportive
this
housing.
building,
Okay.
which just seems like a lot. And they look just like little hotel rooms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's so that people, when they leave the hospital,
Hmm.
have a safe place to go.
And hopefully a place that's like harboring positive behavior,
It's
you
difficult,
know?
right? Because
Yeah.
that's what you'd want to see.
Yeah.
Give them an opportunity to not go back to the place they were hurt in order to
Yeah.
heal.
Yeah.
Um, but it's one of those weird things. I remember watching the movie. I think it was called Paycheck back in the day with
Okay.
what the fuck's his name, Ben Affleck.
Are you
And
Googling it?
yeah,
Okay.
there was yeah, Paycheck, reverse engineer. So they're trying to prevent problems from happening in the world, right? So they get
Hmm.
this tip that there's going to be a huge outbreak of something,
COVID.
or they need to protect people, so they like quarantine everyone in the same location.
Hmm.
And because of that, sickness spreads so fast,
Hmm.
and a lot of people die because of it. So
Mm-mm.
I mean, the point of the movie there was, sometimes you think doing the right thing leads to good things, but sometimes
It
there's
leads to not
unforeseen
good things.
consequences.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just see this as one of those potential outcomes. The park beside the hotel,
Yeah.
so it goes complex health needs units, supporting housing use. God, supportive
Supportive.
housing units,
Yeah.
hotel, park.
Yeah.
So they come out of the hospital, they go to the supportive housing units, which are full of other people who need help, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
But you're surrounded by the people that have the same problems, same proclivities as you do.
Yep.
And then the park right next door is full of all the other people that you normally hang out with who aren't in the supportive housing unit. So it's like, how do you
Who
really
haven't gotten
detach
help, who haven't, yeah,
or haven't needed hospitalization and so haven't been
yeah,
directed down that road?
the path of healing. Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, my heart breaks for them because
It's a
they're
vicious
people too.
cycle.
They're people, and I don't want to see anyone
Yeah.
suffering like that. And
Yeah, of course.
it's hard not to judge sometimes, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm convinced that the person you're interacting with is not who they are.
Right.
It's just the
What they've
outcome of all the things that they've done and
been
they are
exposed
now,
to.
kind of thing. But
Yeah.
behind all that, behind the hurt, behind the pain, there's hopefully someone who you wouldn't mind having a conversation with. But
Genuinely. Yeah, I agree.
mhm.
And like you said, they're all people. I've I've gotten this I don't know what to call it. Um like you feel for them, right? Because you recognize that they're a person
Yeah, it's
and
I don't
they've
like
had a
saying the word
life and
pity
totally.
because it feels arrogant.
Pity, yeah, pity would suggest that we're above them in some way.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
I always choose like empathy or something. I don't know if that's the right word.
yes, empathic would I think would be the right term. Cause I you know, we don't know their story.
No.
No idea what's happened to this person. Who knows? They might have had a thriving business or a family and they were doing just fine and then maybe they lost their job and then things kind of snowballed out of control. The wife leaves, takes the kids,
Yeah.
moves thousands of kilometers away for her own career options, or vice versa. Like perhaps a woman is in a situation that is not safe
Hmm.
or healthy, and she's looking to better the lives of her children. And I mean, who's there's all varieties of stories in between the ones that I've just described. Like there's we'll call it a spectrum, if you will, of different lives that people are living and we don't know them. So how
Hmm.
are we, yeah, why would I judge somebody for having a life like and if they were born into poverty and grew up in it and didn't know or see anything else, um as you know as an adult you have the opportunity to like probably step out of that. But if you're still like a fairly young person, you haven't like really seen the world outside of the world you live in,
Yeah.
how are you to know that there's any other way of life, right, than the one that you see every day, the house that you wake up in, or supportive supportive what did you call it, supportive
Housing unit. Yeah.
housing
Sorry.
unit, yeah.
Sorry. I thought you were talking
No,
about the people that they might have been living with, whether they were supportive or not.
no, but it's well, and that too, right, that falls into there. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I feel like even just giving somebody a smile, like I rarely have change with me. So if I see people like is it called panhandling?
Sure. Yeah.
Um,
I think so.
uh, on the side of the street, I try and at least give them a smile or a wave and just say have
Like
a good
acknowledge
day.
their existence.
Yeah, like you're a
It's
person too.
yeah.
Yeah.
We all
I
always
don't
just
know.
like avoid eye contact so we don't feel uncomfortable. But yeah.
Right. And I think part of that is like you're trying to protect them. You're like, oh, I don't want you to feel bad looking at me in my car or whatever. And I don't know. I think people are able to recognize their situation is not ideal, but
Yeah.
that's the best that they can do in that
And
moment. So
there's an unfortunate, I think, overlap here too. There's always people in a group that make that group look bad.
totally. Yeah.
And like, there's motorcycles, for example. A lot of motorcyclists get a bad rap for,
Yeah.
one or two people that are
People who
generally
like to crack the throttle.
or just like assholes on the road or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
But like there are those panhandlers that aren't homeless.
totally.
They just go out there and they collect money,
Yep.
playing on people's pity, and it makes
Yeah.
it really difficult for the other people who are really struggling, and they have the last vestiges of pride and dignity
Mm-hmm.
that they're holding on to that are preventing them from trying to go out and ask for help.
Just
And they
stripped
don't
away.
want to, they can't get past that and then try to compete against these people who've cornered the market. I don't know
Totally.
that it's as big a problem in Canada, but I know it happens a lot in the States.
Okay. I think in this part of Canada anyway, we have the weather to contend with if
That's
you're
true too.
homeless. So a lot of people kind of migrate to warmer climates. I know Vancouver has a huge homelessness problem, and I know Vancouver Island, all over, has that same sort of issue because the weather's so much more temperate, and so you're not like having to live in -20 for weeks on end, right?
Yeah.
In a tent
Yeah.
or
Hoping a
on a
church will
park
open up overnight.
bench. Yeah. Not to say that there are no homeless people here in the winters. It just, yeah, it,
Yeah. Harder for them to make it as a homeless person, I guess.
totally. Yeah.
So, yeah. Long story short,
You were in London.
I'm exhausted. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, it was a long couple of weeks. And then I found out yesterday. So I live in Kingston,
Yep.
but I work for a unit in Ottawa.
Yes.
And since COVID or around the COVID time frame, um, they've been allowing people to work remotely
Mm-hmm.
in many instances, and it was a pressure valve. It was great for the army to be able to
Mm-hmm.
let people work where they needed to work for a lot of different reasons. And but now they're slowly, or not so slowly, trying to go back to the way business used to be handled, which
Mm-hmm.
is you live and work in the place that you work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I put in my remote work request a while ago, and it finally came back as not supported.
Uh-oh.
And like we're normally people who are getting posted know months and months ago that they're going to get posted out of that unit.
Okay.
So now I'm going to get,
A
I don't know
posting?
what is going to happen.
Okay.
My best assumption
Mm-hmm.
is that I'll get posted on base in Kingston,
Okay.
because right now it's late in the game. They don't have
The
any money.
resources.
All the
Yeah.
posting money would have been spent already.
Yeah.
All those posting messages would have been cut. So I don't think they're going to move us physically
Mm-hmm.
back to, say, Petawawa, or try to move us to Ottawa.
Mm-hmm.
They could try to post me to Ottawa on imposed restriction, which
What does
means
that mean? Yeah.
I would go work in Ottawa during the week and the kids and Cassie would stay here, which to me is a non-starter. That's not an
Yeah.
option.
That's
I would sooner get out of the army than do that.
right.
And yeah.
You're like, let's find another
Hmm. Hmm.
option for this. Yeah.
So what it really boils down to is where on base are there openings for an armored major to go work?
Okay.
And that's what the career manager is going to be looking into. But yeah, it's been a stressful couple of days
Yikes. Yeah.
working in London and fearing for my life, and then finding out I'm not allowed to go to work anymore
Yeah.
at the place I'm working. And
Mm-hmm.
it's unfortunate because I know it's not my unit that is imposing this change.
Okay. Do you know
Um,
what is
it's
imposing?
just an army policy, right? It's coming
Okay.
down
Okay.
just like, hey guys, we got to get back on track. We got to get back to the way we've been doing business. And I don't blame them for making that decision. I
Right.
think the execution sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if this
Big
was what
time.
you intended to do, well, we needed to have this conversation a year ago.
Yeah.
so that I could talk to my chain of command in Petawawa.
Yeah.
I could talk to my career manager. They could start to figure things out, or I could plan with my family even.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but no, they just came back
Impacts quite a large change for such a group. Yeah.
and I mean, at the larger, like from a larger picture point of view, there's this general who
Mm-hmm.
is trying to align the way we're organized with the policy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like this one unit, there's 5 or 6 holdouts, me being
Mm-hmm.
one of them. And I,
What
I
does
get that
holdouts mean?
like we're not aligned with the policy because we
Oh,
work
okay,
remotely.
okay. I see.
So instead of, I don't know, it's a resource to task kind of an issue, right?
Gotcha.
Is this general going to spend a lot of their time trying to manage this situation, or not even manage it, but just following it while other people are managing it for them?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
just for 5 people? No, he's going to say, let's just end it. Let's
Mm-hmm.
get this over with and let's move. And I mean, from like a
Efficiency
militaristic,
standpoint.
yeah, I
Yeah.
understand. We're not a wartime army right now. We're a peacetime
Totally.
army,
Yeah.
and that means things.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, there's this great scene at the end of The Godfather
Okay.
where I believe it's Robert Duvall. He's the consigliere for the Don.
Okay.
For oh fuck, I can't even remember his name right now. I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse. This guy
Okay.
from The
Yeah.
Godfather, like the mob boss or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point in the game, Al Pacino is taken over,
Okay.
and he fires his consigliere, who's his right hand man.
Mm-hmm.
He stays in the organization with the family, but the reason why is because he says, "You're not a wartime consigliere. We're going to war right
Into
now, and I
war. I
need a
see.
different personality in that role."
Mm-hmm.
And so, when you're a peacetime army, you can afford a wide range of personalities, a wide range of people who are effective at getting a job done.
Mm-hmm.
But they might not be effective in a lot of other adjacent categories that are important to getting that job done. Maybe
Okay.
they're not good at relationships with other people. Uh, maybe they're not
Terrible social skills.
fully invested even in the institution. You know what I mean? They might not
Mm-hmm.
give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of different consequences to being a peacetime army, but it generally
Okay.
means that things aren't as, or it can mean things aren't as considered or taken as seriously because we have the latitude for it to not be as problematic,
Okay.
right? I don't know, and I really feel like that's a contributing factor to this whole situation.
For
Not
sure.
to suggest that the general is not the right person or whatever, but it seems odd to me that there is no pressure.
Mm-hmm.
There is no demand for this to happen immediately.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other than to get this thing off your checklist.
Okay.
And
Like get
now,
people back to work is on the checklist. Do you
yeah,
think?
and it's not.
Okay.
It's as if to say I'm not at work. Like I work every day.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
there's really no harm. And what really bugs me the most about this is it demonstrates our lack of innovation as an organization.
Yeah.
And I'm
Like,
being
what
critical
are you
here, but
doing to improve,
well, that's it. We're not
modernize,
identifying what
stay
works
with
and
the
what doesn't
times?
and fighting for those things. We're holding on to how we used to do business because it worked for some people then. Do you know what I mean?
But the whole game, the whole field has changed,
Well,
right?
that's it. Like
Yeah. Playing
those
field.
memes were flying around about especially in like the private sector,
Okay.
private business, like we need to go back to work because we have a culture, and it shows a picture of the cubicles and it's like our culture.
Our culture.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's not.
Yeah. Nobody's thriving by working in a cubicle. I can tell you that. Do
And I
you,
think there's just, sorry, go ahead.
do you remember doing that, like, take your kid to work day? Was that in grade 9 or 10?
I can't remember. I never went in for that. I know Martin did.
Okay.
He went in with dad for one of those days. That was pretty cool from his point of view, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah.
I do remember.
I remember going in to my mom's office and I was like, my soul died a little bit that day.
Hmm.
And I'm certain that I'm not the only person who feels that way. I'm like, we're lining up in the cafeteria with a tray, like little robots, and just bink, 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 put food on my tray, bink, bink,
Red
bink, go
ants marching
pay.
into the night.
Yeah, and that's just the part where we were eating lunch, which is supposed to be like the most recreational part of your day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't. I cannot do this. I cannot. And a lot of people call it like the golden handcuffs when you get into like a great job that pays well, that has all the benefits, that has all the extras, the vacation time, the et cetera, the whatever pension plan. I don't know. I couldn't get on board. I was like, "Ugh, I can't do it."
The
So yeah, the culture of working in an office is lost on me
yeah,
for sure.
I've been more and more opposed to that idea of trading your life for a 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone is first and foremost in this world focused on your job.
Yeah,
Everyone you ask
our
someone, you meet someone,
identity.
what do you do? That what you do is who you are now, not
Yes,
two separate things.
yes.
You know what I mean? And then if you aren't what you do, then you're disloyal or you don't buy into it, or there's a lot of different ways you can be viewed negatively because, like I mentioned earlier, maybe some people are just doing it for a paycheck, and that's
Mm-hmm.
fine if you're doing your
Mm-hmm.
job okay.
Yeah, I mean, like at some point, bills have to get paid, food has to get put on the
Well,
table,
I mean, there was like a
basic needs, right? Yeah,
was it Dave Chappelle did a skit on getting a job or something like that? It's like, why do you want to work here? Bitch, I need money. That's all it
yeah,
is. Like we're making
yeah,
an arrangement here. I'm
yeah.
trading my life
My
to do
whole
this
life.
job for you, and you're paying me. You're
Yeah,
buying my time. I'm
yeah.
not getting paid to do the work. You're paying me to give you my time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then they think they can, talk to you like you're an asshole.
God.
Hierarchies bug me. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
Like,
And
there's
you're
no.
in the biggest hierarchy possibly
Oh,
ever
I
in the
know, I know. And
military.
generally, it's pretty good. I don't know about for other folks in the military, but my experience has been fairly neutral in that regard.
Yeah.
Most of my interactions with higher ups have been fine,
Yeah.
and in most cases, like they're not really paying any attention to you at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know that there are instances where, just by virtue of a power dynamic, someone thinks they can talk to you like you're
A certain way.
dirt. And I
Yeah.
mean, that just gets my blood boiling. I'm like, you
Yeah.
piece of shit. You don't even.
We're all people here.
We're all humans, and yeah, don't pretend
Mm-hmm.
because we all work on
Um,
the same team, and we're driving for the same goals
yeah.
um that we have a culture, that
Yeah.
we're a family. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You don't give two fucks about me.
You ain't Michael Scott. I'm not your family.
There's a couple of TikTok accounts that I've
Yeah.
seen where these guys are reading text conversations that have been sent to them
By who?
from their followers.
Oh, okay.
Um, but these people would have interactions with their bosses or their supervisors,
Yeah.
and it would just be completely inappropriate. And they
Oh,
send these messages to these guys who would then
fun.
discuss them on social media.
Can they not
And
share that with HR?
well, I mean,
No.
in some instances, like it has already gone to HR and they've left the company,
Oh, okay,
and
okay.
it's the HR
It's
contribution is
progressed.
we'll try to fix this or like we'll do whatever we can.
Yeah,
But
right.
the overwhelming
Yeah,
theme in those
right.
instances is, why didn't you already do something?
Yes, why
You've
wasn't this
allowed this
addressed
to
sooner?
happen. Other
Yeah.
complaints have been filed, but
Yeah.
you've not followed up. You've done nothing to prevent this individual. And I know in the army we're big on this. If you do good work, you can get
Mhm.
away with a lot of stuff.
Mm.
So you can be an asshole to
So,
some people, or you can say things that are inappropriate, or you can talk to people in a way that other people would normally not allow you to, because you provide results when they need them, and so you get a little bit of latitude that way.
I
But
was
these,
gonna say the performance basis of this individual might, you know, what is that expression? Like lean the cards in their favor or whatever.
Stack the deck.
Stack the deck a little bit for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
The interactions are always the boss coming down to the employee,
Okay.
either uh forgetting something important like
Okay.
vacation that
Okay.
was booked, uh
Oh,
remi-
what a
rem-
slap in the face for getting
even
vacation.
even remembering it and then saying I have to cancel it, you have to come in on these days, blah 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 blah
You know
blah.
what? Yeah, I have never ever accepted that.
It's wild. It's wild. I don't
Yeah.
understand. And these supervisors will go off like, "Hey, we're all hands on deck. Everyone knew this. This is just part of the job." Blah 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 blah.
Right.
And I need to make this very clear for employers out there.
Okay.
You you cannot accuse someone of doing the bare minimum in their job, because
No,
if you accuse
because
someone of
they're
doing the
doing
bare
their
minimum,
job.
they're doing exactly what you hired them to do.
Yes.
You want them to do more, pay them more. And in every
Yeah.
instance where an employee has brought this up to their employer,
Mm-hmm.
it was, we'll talk about it, or it's not in the cards, or like they just get blown off, right? And then only time anything ever happens is when either they threaten their boss or their supervisor with showing HR the
Yeah.
conversation, or they quit.
Yeah.
And then they come back and they do this retro begging and pleading and try
Yeah.
to get them to stay on. But I'm so proud of the people that quit,
Mm-hmm.
because it's the only way to send the message.
Yeah.
The only way that it's
It's
going to
the
get clear
only
is that
way.
this is unacceptable and we will not tolerate it.
Yeah, I will not accept this anymore. I will find somewhere else to work, and people do. Yeah,
It
totally.
it drives me up the fucking wall.
Sorry, you were saying they shared text. Did anybody share a story that's worth sharing here?
Yeah,
Or
probably. I'll need to pull some up.
yeah. And do you remember the name of the account?
That's what's the problem.
Oh, okay. Our dog is
See if I
just
can find
upstairs
one of these
groaning. Old
I'll
dog
turn this
sounds.
down. One of the things that I've seen happen, and I'm sure a lot of people have seen happen, is bad work or bad workers being tolerated by the bosses.
Yes,
And then all the other workers who are, good workers
doing
see
their
this
job.
being tolerated,
Yes,
and it's toxic.
I feel this
It
way.
creates resentment. Um
I feel this way.
it's
I know this feeling.
yeah.
I've been feeling it. Trying not to get resentful about it because ultimately it's out of my control. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is one of those things that like will slowly grate over time. Any individual, not just me.
Well, that's it. Like if you can
You're like, are
appreciate it
you
for what it
fucking
is and carry
kidding
on,
me?
that's
This
fine.
person
But
shows up 15 minutes late every single day.
consistently,
Yeah, all the time. They leave early. They don't do their work. They're always passing shit off. They're not completing the task that they're assigned or whatever it might be. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's fucking frustrating, bro.
I realized that I may have subconsciously brought this up because today's Cassie's last day at work, the job she's
Oh,
quitting.
it's today?
Yeah, it's today.
Shit. I thought it was next week. Oh my God. Cassie, when you hear this, congratulations.
Yeah, we're proud of you.
Long overdue. Long
Mhm.
overdue.
And it'd be nice for her
Enjoy.
to just have I won't say a break, because she's
We all know
quitting
what she's about to
to
jump
spend time
into.
with the kids this summer.
Yeah, to mom full time, and that's a job. That's two full-time jobs right there. Two kids, two full-time jobs.
Well, it's one job, one title. You don't get a pay raise. It's a lateral move.
Is it? Is it?
Uh, Parenting's easy.
Have you spent? You've spent
Spent
weeks with the
so much
kids.
time with my kids alone.
Yeah, you know exactly what it's like.
It's easy when you
Um,
just ignore them.
right. Oh, speaking of ignoring them, so I've been listening to Mel Robbins' podcast,
Oh,
and she
nice.
was talking about. I should probably send this episode to you because I think you'd appreciate it very much. I actually should send it to Sean as well because we have the same parents. um, and so when I'm listening to this, I'm like, yep, yep, okay, okay. But then also I'm reflecting as a parent at this point. So I'm in this like middle ground of like, this is what I received, and then this is what I'm trying to give my kids, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I found one.
So
Sorry,
Mel
we'll go back.
Robbins podcast. The episode is called. Oh no, not that one. Where do I go to my listened? Shoot. Played. Here we go. 4 signs of emotionally immature parents and how to heal. So that was from that was May 15th episode. Um this author, wow, Dr. Gibson, amazing, amazing. She has her on as a guest and they talk through everything. Wait, is that the right
Dr. Which
episode?
Gibson, sorry?
Dr. Gibson. Hang on.
Just for the
Yeah,
show
Dr.
notes.
Lindsay Gibson.
Is that D-S-E-Y or S-A-Y?
Landsay.
L-A-N?
Sorry, Lindsay. Did I say A? Shit.
Gibson?
Gibson
Okay, thank you. Sorry for the interruption. So
is
that's
here
the
to
name of
assure
the...
you. Oh, I'm just going to read her little notes on the episode.
Okay.
You're not imagining it. You're not too sensitive. You're not overreacting, and you're not alone. There's more, like setting boundaries, 4 signs you had an emotionally immature parent. She kind of breaks it down into 4 types of emotionally immature parents. And I don't want to say I check all the boxes, but I've definitely had moments of each. But I think a big part of it is like recognizing it, checking yourself, and like helping. But the reason I brought it up, what were we just saying?
Let them. Or ignore them. I don't know.
Cassie's not working, spending the summer with the kids,
2 full-time jobs.
2 full-time jobs. And then you were saying, oh, you were saying I've been with the kids. I know what they're like. I just ignore them. That's one of the types, is a parent that, and I don't think you do this, but a parent that ignores their kids all the time. Like that's just, it's the why did you even have me
Yeah.
parent.
Yeah. I'd rather
And
not. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
you know, you can, the stereotype that she describes is the, you know, the dad that comes home from work doesn't even care, like the daughter runs to him and is like, dad, so excited, completely bypasses her, just sits down, starts reading his paper, gives 0 fucks. And then the girl just like feels obviously
Just
uh
snubbed. She
snubbed.
feels
Yeah,
pointless. Like, this is
yeah,
the
she's
person
like,
that's supposed to love me. This
yeah,
means now
my
no
parent.
one's going to love me.
And so that's where you come up with daddy issues and shit like that. But
Yeah.
anyways, it's a really good episode. I will say that.
Pro
Worth
tip,
a
I
listen.
will put that in the rotation for sure.
Yeah.
I want to circle back. So what, this guy's name is Chris Donnelly.
Okay.
And he's one of the ones that I follow, who does this HR stuff. So I'm just gonna see if you can hear this. Okay.
Sick enough to not come in, but well enough to do some. I hear you're sick again. Sick enough to not come in, but well enough to do some work. It's going to be a good one. Hi, Mark. Yes, as I said to HR, I am feeling terrible. I have a terrible headache and a bad cold, so I can email and do some work from home, but coming in would be very difficult and not good for everyone else. Fair enough. Sounds lovely. I wish I could work from home. I will expect you in this afternoon. Mark, I'm very sorry, but I'm really ill and I won't make it in. You were saying if I come round to yours right now, you'd be sick and not just relaxing. Please don't come round to mine, actually. I quit. Sally, I'm joking. It's a joke. Of course, it's not a problem at all. Take all the time you need. I shouldn't have to have aggressive text argument with you when I'm sick. No, please just send me my check. I mean, that is ridiculous. When you are legitimately sick, like you have a cold, you're at home, you're infectious.
So that's a pretty tame example.
In many
How dare the boss be like, so if I come to your house, yeah, come over. Come on. Come get
So,
sick.
and
What do you
here's the
want?
thing too. I feel like,
But as if he's even suggesting that he would do. Yeah, anyway.
or even just calling them out for being sick. I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of these people are predatory
Yeah.
in the sense that they expect no one to tell anyone else about what's going on. They think they're just going to get away with talking to people like this.
Ah, okay.
And it's like, I'll expect you in this afternoon. Like, who the fuck are you? I don't care if
yeah.
you're the fucking Queen of England. You can have zero expectations about what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I will not be in.
Like, God,
yeah.
it drives me so insane.
Yeah.
These,
Predatory
like,
is a very interesting word. Very.
these
yeah,
are the kinds of
appropriate
people that
word.
exist to make themselves look good only. So they'll
Right.
trample all over their employees. There was a great example of one where she questioned him
Yeah.
about the credit she was getting for the work she was doing for this big project and presentation.
Okay.
So he was using all of her products to brief his bosses,
Okay.
and she was getting none of the credit, and he was mostly blowing it off and ignoring it. And anyway, it's like,
And saying like, yeah, whatever.
they know that you're doing a lot of the work, they whatever, like just blowing smoke up her ass kind of thing. But
Yeah.
there's a huge difference between being told, I let them know that you did some of this work, and being in front of those people delivering the work yourself,
Yeah.
or being acknowledged by them directly.
Yeah. Why wasn't she there?
It's because this guy is a fucking credit hog. Everyone
Yeah.
serves him so that he can serve his masters and look good to them. It's just
And
like a huge
yeah.
perverted fucking struggle. We've been so conditioned to want money and status and success
Yeah.
that people are willing to go to these extreme lengths to trample
To
others.
achieve.
Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. I don't even I don't know why you like a job that much that you're willing to sacrifice
Right?
others for it. Like,
Where
it's
is our sanity even?
I think
in
work
all
is
of
so
this?
overrated. And that's not because I fucking got ADHD and the effort alone
Yeah, is big.
paralyzes me.
No, I really I know a lot of people probably give me shit for this, but like I really admire a lot of the European countries that have like a reduced work week,
Mm-hmm.
have a much better work-life balance. I'm not there, so I can't speak firsthand, obviously, but I would really like to believe that what they're saying is true, that they have overall like much lower depression rates, anxiety, and all of the things that go with pouring your life out to an organization,
I,
instead
I've,
of pouring your life out to live your life and
mhm.
enjoy your loved ones and friends and family.
Or even simply yourself.
That too. Yeah.
Enjoy your own company, but you
Yeah.
can't because your brain will wander to, did I meet this deadline? Did I do not? Well, it goes on.
What did I forget? Let me check my calendar. Yeah.
There's a book I want to talk about, and I'm going to talk about it real quick,
Mm-hmm.
but then I have a question for you afterward.
Mm-hmm.
There's this really great book called Bullshit Jobs,
Okay.
and I think
Bullshit
it's
jobs.
among one of my recommended books that I think people
Look it
should
up
read.
immediately.
It is by David Graeber, Graeber, Graeber.
Okay.
Graeber by the
Graeber, hardly know her.
that was even better. That was perfect. The rise of meaningless, unfulfilling jobs and their consequences.
Oh my god.
Does your
right?
job make a meaningful contribution to the world? In the
Mhm.
spring of 2013, David Graeber asked this question in a playful, provocative essay titled On the Phenomenon of Bullshit Jobs. It went viral. After 1 million online views in 17 different languages, people all over the world are still debating the answer. There are
Yep.
millions of people, HR consultants, communication coordinators, telemarketing researchers, corporate lawyers, whose jobs are useless, and tragically, they know it. These people are caught
Mhm.
in bullshit jobs. Graeber explores one of society's most vexing and deeply felt concerns indicting, among other villains, a particular strain of finance capitalism that betrays ideals shared by thinkers ranging from Keynes to Lincoln. This is interesting. Bullshit jobs gives individuals, corporations, and societies permission to undergo a shift in values, placing creative and caring work at the center of our culture. This book is for everyone who wants to turn their vocation back into an avocation. Don't ask me the differences between those two words. But the litmus test for if your job is a bullshit job or not
Okay.
is if this job ceased to exist, would the world notice? So, bus
So this-
driver, you would notice.
Yeah.
Not a bullshit job. Teacher,
Teacher.
you would notice. Not a bullshit job. Garbage man, you would notice.
Oh, you would
Not
notice.
a bullshit job.
Do you remember when they went on strike in France last summer?
Oh yeah.
Was it last summer?
Yeah,
think
within
it
the
was last
last
summer.
couple of years,
Yeah. Oh my God. Can you? Oh, the stench.
trash everywhere. It just felt like the Renaissance again.
Totally.
Just
Yeah.
garbage everywhere. But if you read the book,
Military person, not bullshit job.
Asterisk. It's not because you wear the uniform that your job is required or necessary.
Okay. Okay.
There is,
Depends on position.
and it depends on your organizational structure too. I think there are a lot of organizations in a lot of armies. Think of Doge, right? Going through and
Doge.
you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of positions and jobs that are made but don't really do
It's filling
anything.
a void.
Or
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of different ways these jobs come about, even in the military.
Mhm.
They were created for one purpose decades ago, and they fulfilled that task, but they were never decommissioned as a unit or an organization within the forces,
Or they got absorbed somehow in another.
or they got absorbed somehow,
place. Yeah.
or we stopped having that requirement,
Yeah.
or the requirement was never fully understood, or whatever. But
Like
there's
I
just
think of nurses in schools. There used to be a nurse
yeah,
in school. Could go see the nurse. Doesn't exist anymore. Are you kidding me?
yeah,
You barely get a
that
fucking
would still
family
be
doctor,
cool.
my homie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you read the
That would
book
still be cool. Yeah, it would.
and you recognize, you can see, like if you had the assumption that, say, like the place I work is not bullshit,
Yep.
so some of these jobs are not bullshit jobs,
Yeah.
you can start to at least see where efficiencies can be gained in your place of employment.
Okay. Okay.
You can start to appreciate the contributions of some team members and others, and for me personally, it helps me steer my efforts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get too involved in things anymore because I think most of it's bullshit.
It's a little bit bullshit.
But in the past, I would have been a lot more vocal about a lot more things because I just assumed everything was necessary and required. If you told me this
Okay.
organization existed, I assumed it was to do good work.
Mm-hmm.
But I bring this up because I would be happy to see someone read this book and be like, man, I got to make a change, or I got to get out of here, or I got to talk to my bosses because we need to do something.
Mm-hmm.
It's about appreciating that, and this is coming back to the question I wanted to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't live to work. We work to live, which I think is still inappropriate.
Yeah, we work so that we can collect a pension and enjoy our retirement.
Well, and it's
As
necessary.
a society, I don't think everybody is doing this, but yeah.
We work so that we can feed ourselves and clothe ourselves and
Yeah.
house ourselves.
Yep.
And for that reason, well, maybe not for that reason. It just, to me, it makes it a lot more distinctive that you aren't your work and your work is not that important.
Right.
Don't give up who you are. Don't become this insane fucking asshole just because your work demands it of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you don't need to work that way and you can still find fulfillment. But my question to you is, what does work-life balance look like? What does it mean?
Geez.
And you know, we talk about it a lot, but
To me specifically,
Well, and it's important because your understanding of work-life balance and your boss's understanding of work-life balance, pardon me, might be different.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's different and you guys don't talk about it, then you'll never achieve it.
Right.
So, you know, if I go up to my boss and say, hey, this is what work-life balance means to me. I'm
Yeah.
willing to let work take priority sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and I will sacrifice time with my family in order to achieve that.
Mm-hmm.
But generally speaking, I prefer to work a normal business day and
Mm-hmm.
be undisturbed after that. That is
Yeah.
what work life balance is to me, as an
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
And then my boss could be like, well, no, work life balance means you finish your work first and then you get to go whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why questions during job interviews, like you can ask what the culture is like at a place,
Yeah.
and that's what you think you're getting.
The answer
That
for.
exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
But what you're actually getting is just their stupid website fucking values and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
But what you really want to ask is not what your culture is like. What are your expectations of your employers in a workday? What
Yeah.
what happens when something comes up and you know they can't reach my wife, but my kid's sick and needs to be taken out of school?
Yeah.
Am I permitted to do so?
Yeah.
Those kinds of things, right? That's
Yeah.
the stuff you want to find out from your job before you could sign a 25-year fucking contract
Totally.
to work for the
Which
other
I
one. Anyway,
think,
sorry. Back to the question.
I think like your situation is specific,
To the military.
like, yes. So like a 25-year contract is not the norm
No.
anymore. It was, I think, at one time you would go work for a company for your entire career and you could work up the ranks if you wanted and like build
Mhm.
up knowledge and whatever. But the most recent thing I heard is that the longest anybody stays in a job now is like 3 years. Like that's it's considered a long amount of time.
Mhm.
I remember when I don't want to say when I entered the workforce, but when I started working somewhere for 3 years was a extremely short amount of, like, almost don't put it on your resume short amount. Like I remember being counseled, if you worked somewhere for a year or less, like don't put it on your resume, like it won't look good. But that's just not the case, I don't think, anymore. I think like 3 to 6 years is an average amount of time to work somewhere. And anybody can correct me if I'm wrong about this, but it's just kind of in the reading that I do, what I have read in articles and news and whatnot. What was I gonna say? Oh, work-life balance. I don't know. I think I might have it. It's not perfect, but I work part-time. So I think I'm able to like achieve a lot of the life part in between my work because I work 2 hours and a bit in the morning and then 2 hours and a bit in the afternoon. So, and my boss isn't calling me on weekends. I know some people do get called on weekends if some of the, you know, charters and things like that are in a pickle. But ultimately, I'm on my own for the most part. I think it's one of the reasons that I've stuck with this job is that I'm not really like being asked more than I'm able to do, right?
Mhm.
Like, I don't know if this is,
Mhm.
I'm explaining it well. Like, they're not, they'll say, hey, are you available for, this extra run or whatever? And if I'm not, I'm not. And if I am, then I am. But I don't feel like there's like extra pressure or anything like that. So, like, my work isn't like a stressful environment. Ask me that again today at like 3:45 when all the kids are screaming on the bus because it's Friday.
Drown them out with music.
But yeah, it's not, that's like not, that's also not stressful. It sometimes sends me into fight or flight because I like hear kids screaming, but I'm like, I have to remind myself. I'm like, they're nobody's injured. They're just so excited to go
Mhm.
home. But what was I getting at with this? Yeah, I feel like my work life balance is honestly actually good, but I can't live off of it. I can't be the sole income earner in my household at this rate, you know? So it's like
But let's
it's
say,
supplementary.
and
Uh
that's fine. It's nothing to do with what the
yeah.
job is, but what would you call work life balance? Is it
Uh
the ability to whatever, you know what I mean? Like I think
I th-
in
yeah,
in my mind,
yeah,
I always understood that like, hey, these are the requirements for the job.
I see.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
Yes.
But you get, like you said earlier in the show, earlier in
Yes.
the ep,
The app. Yeah.
the oh fuck, I forgot it already. Um,
About the work life balance.
it
Was I
was
talking
in
about that?
something separate. Oh wow, that is totally gone.
It's gone.
This
Okay.
is wild. Anyway, all right, yeah, back to you. Eh, yeah.
What does that look like work life balance? Okay. I need to spend the evenings with my kids. Like I honestly I would love to be able to pick them up from school, which I technically do, and then take them home. And at the moment, because Isla's not in school, like I want to spend daytime hours with her. So I feel like that's where I'm at right now. When she goes to school in the fall, I feel like work life balance is going to be different. Um, but yeah, I think it's evenings with the kids, definitely weekends. Having their days off with them
Mm-hmm.
is awesome. Not having to send them to childcare is part of that for me. There's not a lot of jobs that let you do that, so I found one that fits in that regard. And then I also like in our particular life, I feel like work life balance also means like I want to be able to see Jordan when he works afternoons. So if
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a 9 to 5, I wouldn't get 2 weeks of the month with him at all.
Yeah, that'd be a write off
Yeah,
entirely.
I'd be, getting ready for work, leaving, working, coming home, having the evenings with the kids so I get that part of it, but then I don't see Jordan for like more or less 2 weeks. So, I don't know, this one right now it fits and I think that's kind of why I'm like staying here or in this job in particular right now. Um Obviously it's not a perfect job, you know. Would I change some of the things? Sure, but because it checks off all those boxes, it works, right?
Well, and, I mean,
Yeah.
the reality too is there's all of these discussions are predicated on the people that you're surrounded by when you're doing your job, like the
Mhm.
children, or the
Mhm.
people you work with, the other
Yep.
bus drivers, or Jordan, the other production or maintenance managers or whatever. Like I always forget his job. I don't even know his job title. Uh,
Maintenance electrician.
okay, and
Yeah.
then for me, like just there's an insane amount of people I could be expected to work with on a daily basis.
Right.
So many times I'm looking up, I'm trying to find the right point of contact for something to do, and as soon as I reach out to that individual, I almost feel like I'm opening a door to a portal where I don't know what it's going to be like working with them or just
Yeah.
interacting with them at all,
Yeah.
and it makes it a
The
little
mystery.
scary. Yeah, and so I'm always a little hesitant when I start talking to new people because I'm not quite sure
Okay.
how they operate or what their expectations are.
Yeah.
But yeah, work life balance is really tricky because it's not just about your relationship with the employer. It's about your relationship with the employer's relationship with their work, how they view things, how
Yeah.
fucking culture is important. We all got to come back. Like that kind of bullshit to me says a
Mhm.
lot about who you are.
Mhm.
You're just fucking singing off the sheet of music you were given, but
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of it is indoctrinated in like an older way of life
I
overall.
agree 100%.
Um do do people perform better at work? I'm not sure. I think it'd be curious to look at stats
I
because
know
I'm
some
sure
people do, or
I
or maybe that's not a fair way to say it, because what you're stating is like physically at that work location.
yeah, are they performing more? I'm not
But
sure.
do
I'm not
people
sure.
perform better? One thing is certain:
Mm-hmm.
not all people perform the same way in the same work environment.
100%. Yeah.
So allowing people to work in environments that are more conducive to them as individuals
Yes.
would logically produce better work,
Logically. Yeah. Yeah.
right? Or
Find what works for them. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Have maybe a hybridized model. I know my mom is kind of in a hybridized sort of workplace model right now. She works from home 3 days a week, and then 2 days a week she's in the office. And then so she's in like Wednesday, Thursday, and then there's like group A, we'll call them, goes in Monday, Tuesday, and then group
It's like
B,
swapped, yeah.
yeah, she does Wednesday, Thursday, and then just because of the way her job is, like it's like the planning department for like permits and all the construction that happens in the city. Um, so she, when she's not doing the admin, we'll call it admin part of her job, she's physically on the phone collecting payments for like permit for this, roadway thing for that, talking to people about what you are and not allowed to do, and all just like doling out all the rules for everything.
Right.
um and so in construction most people aren't working afternoon on Friday. So it's quiet and they get to catch up on all their stuff that they've
Nice.
probably fallen behind on
Yeah.
during the week.
Phones ringing less.
Yeah, Fridays are quiet. So I don't think they have anybody in the office on Fridays, but she said it's worked really well. She's like, I can't ever see myself going back full time, like 5 days a week. She's like, forget it, especially because she's so close to retiring. Um, and I think maybe going in 2 days a week is the accountability people need to be like, hey, I'm here, I'm doing my work. Like, don't you worry. You know what I mean? But she said the part that is tough is being in a sort of um, because they have physically changed the layout of the office. So she doesn't have like her own desk anymore. It's like a shared space. So the Monday, Tuesday people come in, and then she comes in on Wednesday, Thursday, and it's shared. So she doesn't have her own. Anyways, so she was like, I think this is where they could improve. Um, it's just to give people as much. She's like, as much as people hate their effing cubicles, it's your own. It's your domain. Like you can be a little bit put
It's
your
your space,
kids'
yeah.
pictures or whatever, and be like, okay, yeah.
I picture like a layout like the office though, where there aren't cubicles, they're just desks,
Open space.
little
Yeah.
desk clumps and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
that would be, in my mind, way more conducive. But it's tricky, right? Because then you don't know what you're going to be exposed to, who you're going to be exposed to.
Totally.
At least the cubicle, if there are people you don't like, you can hide.
Yeah.
You can, you know what I mean? It's
Oh,
just
don't
tricky.
talk to me. This person is gonna vampire.
Fucking Brian's coming.
Yeah, like energy vampire me for the next hour, and I just can't even. Yeah. Yeah, it's unavoidable. I mean, they have offices where there's a um open, we'll say like open desk areas, and then closed cubicles. So like if you feel like you're not getting your work done in the open space, you can move over to the cubicle. You know what I mean? Not to say we're going to start giving people 2 desks, but
Everyone would start hogging the closed spaces and then calling them offices instead of work. Come to my
right.
office. It's
Yeah.
a conference room.
Yeah, I wonder if you could like set it up so that you would borrow maybe an hour or two of that closed airspace.
Sign up sheet.
Yeah, I think that. And then, oh, so and so's been using it for more than their allotted time this week. You know,
Yeah.
that would happen too.
That's why I like work from home, because you don't have to deal with that nonsense.
Yes.
Yeah. If the microwave's dirty, it's my own fucking fault.
Yes.
And I will clean it up, not
Yes.
leaving a note and then just passive aggression all
Clean
over the
the
place.
microwave. Yeah. Oh my
Somebody
God.
has to do it.
The passive aggressiveness of the office. Like, just can we just be adults and like take care of shit and not bitch?
Won't happen.
Yeah.
Won't happen.
I think maybe it's just all in human nature too. I start wondering that sometimes.
It's only human natural.
Human natural. Oh boy. Yeah. I mean, that's all I've got. Oh, I was gonna say, it's that time of year where we get ants in our kitchen.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, shoot me. I like super cleaned the kitchen last night. Like, I took everything that was food, put it in the fridge or put it in the cupboards. I like scrubbed the counters. I spray bug spray in the like cracks of the window trim because that's where they're getting in. It drives me fucking crazy. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. There's like 2 ants crawling around. I'm like, my house is infested. Call the fucking pest control.
Oh
Like,
man.
it's
That's why I
so
let the
gross.
spiders go.
Yeah, and then I see this spider moseying along, and I'm like, do your fucking job. What do you what
Yeah.
what?
You don't pay room and board because we have a fucking arrangement, okay?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't let you live just so that I can have 1,000 ants climbing into the house. Like, please go do your job. Please.
My line in the sand
Hmm.
for the spiders was if the kids notice them.
Oh, okay. You have
But
to kill
I've
the ones
been
the kids are afraid of.
convincing them, like most of the time, you're like, hey, do you want flies and stuff around the house?
Yeah.
No, better let the spider cook. Like, he's got a job to do. He keeps all these things at bay, and then
Yeah.
eventually they get too big, and you got to get rid of them.
Yeah.
But we've had a
Too
pretty
scary.
good rotation of spiders, and we've had
Nice.
very few.
Other
We've had a
bugs.
few ants, but mostly nothing. And
Yeah.
I will stand by that. I have no problem letting some of these spiders live in the house visibly because I know
Yeah.
there's the ones you can't see.
Yeah.
Because they're fucking helping me out, man. Why would I
Yeah.
put poison out when I got
Yeah.
a spider who's gonna fucking eat it for free? You know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's
Let
probably enough.
nature run its course. Yeah.
Let nature run its course. All right.
Thanks, friend.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
thanks everyone for listening. And
Totally.
we'll see you again next week.
Next time. Yeah. Toodles.